It's a big day, because you see, in 5 hours' time, we will, after 47 years, leave the European Union. Yes, sure, there'll be arguments, debates about what's to follow, but this is the big historic moment. We're in now, the final countdown. It's big stuff, and let's just remind ourselves why this is happening. Let's remind ourselves what happened at about 4:40 in the morning of the 24th of June, 2016. This was David Dimbleby announcing the result of the referendum.
Well, at 20 minutes to 5, we can now say the decision taken in 1975 by this country to join the common market has been reversed by this referendum to leave the EU. The British people have spoken, and the answer is we're out.
And here's the extraordinary thing. When David Cameron announced the referendum back in 2013, and as the general election of 15 happened and the referendum campaign itself started, at every stage of this, the Prime Minister, in fact, the establishment were clear. It's an in-out referendum. We're either in the EU or, to quote the Prime Minister, out completely. And yet, it has taken until the 31st of January 2020 for this to be enacted after over 3.5 years of the parliamentary equivalent of trench warfare. It has seen former Prime Ministers, Blair, Major, Brown, standing up and saying that basically the whole thing should be reversed. It's all been a terrible mistake. We've had stories about Russian money, all of which turned out to be baloney. And at one point, because a few friends of mine and myself had chatted with Paul McKenna ahead of the referendum, that we'd hypnotised the nation. I mean, you've never heard such rubbish in all your life. But it's happening. We are leaving tonight. It is a big historic moment. I would argue that it is, in terms of our constitution, and indeed in terms of our position in the world, the most significant moment since Henry VIII took England out of the Church of Rome, and tonight we leave the Treaty of Rome. To me, well, I became, I suppose, obsessed with this subject back in the early 1990s. Sort of 1990 really got me going, and by 1992 I was out delivering leaflets, knocking on doors, campaigning, and the rest of my life, some would say, has been downhill ever since. So I put 27 years of my life into this. I can't even begin to tell you what this means to me today. And in an odd way, it's almost better after 3.5 years of agony, because this time last year I wasn't sure it was actually going to happen at all, and it did seem to me that a second referendum was coming down the tracks. Now, I've been doing media today all day. I've been around almost every London studio, and the story, the Westminster narrative, is that so much of the country is really unhappy with what's happening, and yet I've met Remainers today who say to me, Nigel, I voted Remain because my life was quite comfortable, but you know what? We're a democracy. I accept it. And tonight, as I've come in tonight to LBC Studios, the scenes out on the streets in Leicester Square, it's just going bonkers out there. I just met a coachload of people who come down from Barnsley this morning. I mean, they are just going for gold. And listen, boys and girls, please don't peak too soon. You seem to be enjoying yourself perhaps a little bit too much. But I see it, and I hear stories of fireworks parties, of get-togethers all over the country. I think there is a huge amount of celebration going on tonight. And even when I debated with Lord Mandelson this morning on Good Morning Britain on ITV, even Lord Mandelson said, look, it's not what I wanted, but it is happening. There will be no second referendum. So for him, the battle now is about the next stage. But this is the big historic break. It means the world to me, and I would suggest to you that this is the greatest moment in modern British history.